Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I've created Magic and Miracles with one purpose only: to help individuals all across the globe of all walks of life achieve their manifestation, dreams, and goals. True story. All the information from me is below. If you'd like to be in coaching with me, what you need to do is pre-book what's called the signature coaching package. And this is a really intense program, and I recommend 2 to 3 months in it. On average, that is enough. We rendezvous 3 times per week, and I like to operate with this intensity because it allows me to shock the current belief system. We process your mama drama panorama first. In some ways it does resemble therapy, but it is not therapy in that I am allowed to give you feedback. I'm allowed to give you my honest opinion. In therapy, that is not the case. But if you're ready to be coached by a strong-minded coach, I'm the one for you because I will leave no stone unturned in that we will accomplish so much together in examining your history, and I will help you map out your belief system that you probably are unconscious about. If you're not staring at it and disempowering it, you're not really processing it. And so we do process emotions as well as beliefs, as I've mentioned, and reconfigure them towards the timeline in which you actually belong, which I symbolically call the Golden Buddha timeline, okay? The highest version of you, at the very least at this stage of the game. Are you ever going to stop quantum leaping, which is what I help people to do? No. But at this stage of the game, something has to give. Enough is enough. You're frustrated, this and that. The change is imminent, and I help people do that, all right? So after we process the emotions, I set you up with a brand new life, as it were. I don't just coach in SP department. It's all areas of your life, business. I have helped so many people quit their boring jobs and set up businesses. It's ridiculous. All of which I profusely and profoundly enjoy. And again, set you up for life. We map out all of your goals. And that's all I'm going to say, because otherwise I'm going to go into my coaching material. I also teach you energy work, which reinforces and really just empowers to such an extent your manifestations that it literally is real life magic. So there's also an energy course, the do-it-yourself course with the signature energy course that's do-it-yourself. It's an audio-based course with 2 meditations in it. And again, the links are below. If you have any questions before booking, please don't hesitate to contact me. You also need to sign the coaching agreement. You need to sign it by hand, sign it dated, print your name, and send it to me as a scanned document. I do not accept pictures anymore. I only accept scanned documents, okay? It's for your protection as much as for my own. So welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to do this. And I'm kind of liking this kind of setup, the lives on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then shorts in between, so this is really inspiring to me, really, really happy. And I wanted to thank everybody for your lovely messages of support and your lovely messages about Jake, my dog. I really appreciate it. Really, really do. I'm about to you. Thank you. I really, really, really am grateful. Okay. Yeah. So before I get emotional again or all over again. So I wanted to start out. So the topic of today is getting your SP with your magic spell energy. And before I continue, big thumbs up and big subscribe if you're new. I want to reach 500 subscribers so that I can start linking my website, as it were, to my channel so that everybody can have an easier time booking things. And I'm also working on a lot of things in the background, like the stationery for Magic and Miracles and the t-shirts and this and that, so that you guys have, a piece of Magic and Miracles at your home. Maybe there will be mugs, but I'm not big on mugs, to be honest. Maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. But I wanted to start with something that I was trying to explain, and I felt like I kind of did it in the last live. but I wanted to really drive it home because it was on my mind before I came on. And it's about the quantum leaping. Okay, it's the moment that you know you've quantum leaped, and every single time I've done it, it's the same. And I want to kind of go over the mechanics of it one more time. So it's one moment in time, okay? After you've done all the processing, the disembarking from that timeline, and after you've done the constructing of the new timeline through diligent work, yes, part of it to construct the scenes, but what you're more than that, you're working on constructing the overall vibe. It goes beyond a vibe, it goes to knowing, it goes to embodying, it goes to really fusing with this energy. And this energy of this new timeline, of this new world, is familiar to you. It's not so like, oh, in one moment I can switch to the timeline that's completely unfamiliar to me. Like, don't dream of it in that sense. It has to be that you visit that timeline consistently and that it becomes a familiar world. And you are aware when the other world shows up again, the old world shows up. I mean, in fact, they're simultaneously coexisting, but that you're visiting this world all the time, on a consistent basis, and you are very familiar with this world is a very necessary component. Now, the moment that you will know, it will kind of descend on you. It will click in with you, kind of almost unconsciously, with the help of your spirit guides, your guardian angels, what have you. You will know this moment will arrive when you almost having like an out of body experience. I don't know how else to say it. Okay. You're having this out of body experience and you realize here we are, superstar. This moment in time, like again, as I was trying to explain, I'm here, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the same things. Around me is the same environment, but it's kind of like, at the very least, this is how I experienced it. And I want to kind of inspire you. It's kind of like you're realizing unconsciously and consciously simultaneously and having this out of body experience. And it's a deeper knowing that descends on you. And you realize from this moment on, I am entering a different timeline. Now, of course, it's not done against your will. In fact, you've designed it this way, waiting, in quotations, in terrestrial terms, for the moment that you're ready, for the moment that the battery is at 100%, so to speak, for the other timeline kind of situation, to be able to fuse with it, right? But in this moment in time, either you are being told, okay, it descends on you, in other words, it feels like it's involuntary. It's just the battery has been charged now to 100%, or it's a decision. And I feel like the other thing that I wanted to squeeze in is that the manifestation process is very much a dance of divinity and you. And it's almost like this is why it's not a good idea to tell divinity how or when, because it knows things you know not of. It knows everything. It's going to create the most spectacular, beautiful thing. And if you dance with it and you have this great partnership with it, it will deliver such fucking magic to you and for you that you will be so blown away, and never again will you allow yourself, you won't dream of it, my darling, to tell the divinity how, and when to deliver. But essentially, it's this dance with divinity because it'll tell you the moment and you will feel it, and it will be so beautifully orchestrated. You could not have devised it in a million motherfucking years. In that moment, again, I want to describe it as a deeper knowing, as a fusing with divinity. You feel like you're levitating. You have goosebumps all over your body. You just know something spectacular is happening to you. Okay, now listen, there could be degrees of this. It doesn't have to be always euphoria. I mean, depending on what you're manifesting. But to me, personally, a quantum leap is something very noticeable, right? So this is why the accompanying emotions, because on a bodily level, on a soul level, on an emotional level, you realize something really extraordinary is about to take place. And again, by statement alone, you can even say in that moment, it is this moment right now, right here, that travels me, takes me to the other timeline completely. In other words, from this point forward, from this slide of the movie, that I'm still seeing everything the same, but in the next second, I will see something completely. It's not that I'm going to see something completely different. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. It's that from this point forward, the timeline taking over is going to be the one that I worked on so hard. In other words, that other timeline, maybe it's not so bad, but it's not what you wanted. Okay. And again, personally speaking, I always ask big. So, I mean, like the bigger that you ask, the bigger the fluctuation of energy. Okay. But from this point forward, the other time it's like a train getting on a different track, and you will maybe even have dreams, like dreams before that day, like preparing you and advising you. Again, oh my god, guardian angels and spirit squad are so fucking phenomenal. It's beyond. And they will prepare you, and you might have dreams. Like personally, I've had several times in my life dreams like literally a train going in the other direction, like splitting off into another timeline. And in some cases, it would be people that would be gently waltzed out of my life. Let's be polite over here for the sake of the life. But it was a divine intervention, things that I've asked for my highest good, etc., etc., etc. But I want to stress, it's this moment and your declaration from this moment forward, and you feel it with every fiber in your being. I'm going to transport myself to the parallel reality, parallel timeline, actually, forget reality, timeline, in which I am fusing with this story. I am fusing with this narrative that I worked on so hard, and it feels like I can embody it now. It's not just I'm trying on the situation, it's that I am embodying it and I'm fusing. And you will see, like, it will be a day. Again, at least that's how I experienced it. By all means, comment below if you've experienced, maybe something similar, something different. You could do it in a day and you will feel which day it is. You will definitely feel which day it is, because on a singular day, you can do it. I mean, again, you can do it incrementally, small things, big things, whatever. But you will see, like, in one day, you will shift so noticeably that it will be like literally from that moment forward, everything changed. Like the person that said no suddenly says yes. The person that was angry suddenly in love with you. All these things completely rearranged because now you fused with it. All right, 13 minutes into it. Now I'm ready to go into my new subject. Okay. This is a really good one. Okay, just like what I just explained. Let me just check something really quick. Sorry. And one more thing. Okay, we're good. Sorry, one sec. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So, so the topic is getting your SP with your magic spell energy. So what is magic spell energy? All right. It's about this quantum leap energy of decisiveness. Okay, first of all, you're going to have to purify yourself. Let's start with that. No more judgmental stuff towards yourself. No more overthinking. Okay, this is necessary because you cannot bring, the baggage with you. This is why we process everything in your coaching. No more projecting. No more misinterpreting. In other words, no more being your worst enemy. Kind of. If you want to really marry and exercise your magic spell energy, the other timelines habits, the other timelines inclinations, narratives, the habitual feelings that you've gotten used to, that like your body is already not even negotiating, it's just accepting misery, maybe on automatic pilot, but noticing it. And this is why coaching is so powerful, because we kind of like stop and look what is going on inside your mind. And again, people are busy going through life, and so maybe you don't have the time. Okay, it takes bravery also to take a look inside, because it might not be so pretty. Okay, but all of this stuff needs to go, because once you realize in real time how you have the choice again to go into a completely different reality, sorry, into a completely different reality, and on the spot though. Like in my last live, I discussed how you can literally say to your fears, I do not consent. I do not consent. I choose this. So when you're being bombarded by judgment and by self-criticism and all of these thoughts, it's really important that you completely refuse access to that. And again, as a very, gifted magician and reviser at that, you go into the other direction and understand, like, the two timelines will continue fighting for your attention, for your for the place in your mind. They will continue until the last moment, because they're petitioning to be in your energy, and the two timelines will coexist at the same time. Okay, until the last moment. I mean, something phenomenal happens. And this is why when people ask me, what signs should I pay attention to? You know, like, I've experienced it, that the signs from both realities can be available from moment to moment. Again, it's the dedication to, well, which timeline am I going to enter? Which timeline am I going to commit to? So, which signs should you pay attention to? The signs from that timeline that you really prefer. That's the end of the story. So the signs themselves are there. Choose which ones you want to give meaning to. So if you see a sign and you say that's what it means, then that's what it means. If 2 minutes later you see a different sign and to you it might mean that it's diametrically opposed, you have the choice in that moment to refuse its meaning. And you say, it's meaningless. Okay, it doesn't have any meaning. It's up to me to give it meaning or not give it meaning. And you will find, like, when you disempower your fears and you just refuse to give it meaning, and you just say, you know what, it's me who's giving it meaning. It's up to me to give it meaning. And if I don't give it any meaning whatsoever, it loses its power. If I'm walking around being scared, being confused, undecisive, yeah, the other timeline might derail me. But if I'm fully committed to this one timeline, to this one outcome, to this one story, one narrative, and I see the signs and it does nothing for me. This is how you know, confirmation from the outside. This is how you know you're going in the right direction. Okay, you still see the sign, but it doesn't produce any emotional activity toward in you. Now, I mean, in a sense, the universe is also like training you. It's the greatest coach on earth. It's training you to choose the other side, right? So recognize, like, maybe up until this moment, you've not been choosing the highest timeline, and therefore you haven't been practicing your magic spell power. Because the magic spell power is like, I'm walking in, I'm the god of my, or god or goddess of my reality. I'm the golden motherfucking Buddha. And I have this really powerful skill of the laser sharp focus of being dedicated to one direction only. Am I still going to notice other things? I mean, yeah, okay, but it's up to me. The mastery is, it's up to me to give it meaning or give it any emotion, give it any energy. If you can become the observer of your life, and you see, this is a theater, a play, whatever, movie, this and that, and in that way, be more empowered to make healthier choices. In other words, not to be confused with the experience, but to become the observer. Because I feel like that's, not for nothing, like a really strong point actually with a lot of people. There's a certain detachment in this where you're observing something happening, and therefore you're more empowered to change it versus identifying yourself with a certain story, with a certain timeline. This detachment is very empowering because, again, to use your magic spell energy, you are going to have to recognize and exercise the power, recognize that you have this power and exercise this power. I mean, like, like you're cutting butter again. They're ripping through all the crap and choosing the best timeline at that moment with all the preferences that you currently have completely, and not accepting anything else. To be this focused with this precision, everybody else is powerless in your surroundings, in your life, whatever. In fact, you're being the master magician for yourself, for your 360 bubble. Others are not involved in this, but it's for you to master. This is the mastery, Can you be this in love with the idea that you give it a love, okay, the love energy, and you give it this crystal clear, laser sharp focus? Can you do that? So that's the jazz, because if you feel that there's some kind of a resentment, some kind of either from you or towards them, or patu, whatever kind of other energy other than straight up love and dedication to that timeline, this is what you need to get out of the way. And, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, coaching might seem like, like therapy, but it's not therapy. Okay. In fact, if you're in therapy, please don't come into my coaching. It's not said in disrespect, just not where it's for your own good. It's not where you at right now. Trust me, just from my own experience. Okay. On YouTube, I've been for 3 years now. And before that, I've been a coach for 7 years, so 10 years total. I never had to, I've coached, celebrities, famous people, even, and entertainment people. And it's a different situation, different market. And so I feel it's my duty, maybe even, I don't know, to inform you, if you are really feeling like your emotions are so out of control that you can get triggered by what I say. I respect that, I understand, but you're just not ready to be coached. Not just yet. Maybe in the future you will be, but not just yet. Okay. A coach, really, we're talking about it, but we need to re-examine it again with the detached perspective of, if we are examining it, we are to examine it with all honesty. We are going to look at it, and we are going to let go of that. And to let go of it, you really must call it for what it is, and or for what it wasn't. Okay, kind of situation. So where was I? Letting go of all the judgments, etc. So it might seem like it's therapy, but it's a lot more constructive than that, because, again, I'm allowed to give you my feedback. And that's, a side note here, not for nothing. I wish that somebody did for me many years ago, 15 years ago. I did my own deep dive because I couldn't find anybody who resonated with me, who understood what I was going through, who understood me, what I was doing, etc., etc. So becoming that purified version of yourself, right? And then becoming a quantum bitch, I wrote in my notes, or a quantum dude. This dedicated personality that when you want something, you're going so hard after it. It's like the sea will part. This is the energy behind the magic spell energy. It's like you're so dedicated, you're so focused, there's so much love, so much energy, so much precision, okay, and so much work had gone into pacifying the monsters in you, that you are now able to focus only on the light. I mean, very kind of like briefly summarized, okay? That now there is nothing else going on and you're just going for it. I mean, if you can bring yourself to this capacity of acknowledging your power, that you could do it, like literally parting the sea, this is the energy to bring in. And again, your SP will be completely powerless, but powerless, I tell you. Okay, so can you be this in love with the idea? If you are this in love with the idea, even on the shittiest day, may I tell you, and PMSing and all of it, you will never let go of this idea. You will want to continue investing in it. And in fact, along the way, it will encourage you to work through your shit. In other words, you starting the journey with a lot of crap that you need to work through. But if you are so in love with the idea of marrying this guy, marrying this girl, you will be so obsessed in the most healthiest way, I would advise, with this goal that you would be willing to do the work. Okay. And I really, side note here again, I really find that people, not for nothing, but don't are not encouraged to do this work. A lot of people are not encouraged to do this work until such time that it comes to the affairs of the heart, because it's very personal and it hits very deep and you can't ignore it anymore. And thank goodness, as it were, because again, I myself had to do my own deep dive because my romantic relationships were complete shit, and this is why I do what I do for all of you. So, and then we're moving on to what is in your arsenal. So I'm going to give you some tools and some understandings, etc. The feeling of having what you want, right? This is another kind of energy to master and understanding to master. A lot of people, walking around in the metaphysical community and like, what am I doing wrong? And how do I speed this up, etc. It's so simple. I mean, are you feeling like you have it, or are you feeling like you don't have it? Because the feeling of not having it is so different from the feeling of having it now. If I don't have it, I really feel the yearning for it. If I don't have it in my consciousness, that is, okay? So you start out always where you are. This is the moment in time that you have the opportunity to become this master magician and quantum leap, okay? So the stuff to give up on is that this kind of like yearning, okay, and worrying and fretting and asking and praying for it. Now, I have nothing against prayer, but I think, as Neville very brilliantly put himself, that praying is completely different. Praying is like thanking. Thank you so much, that is going to go in my favor. So having what you want, and side note here, I'm inspired right now to share something with you because last night, I know I've quantum leaped. It was such an intense, yet another quantum leap. Many quantum leaps amongst the big quantum leap. Because let's face it, I've been quantum leaping for a while now. It was such an intense experience, but I'm used to it. And again, it's not like, be careful what you wish for kind of deal, like the kind of powers that you have. It was such a bright example of, really what I'm explaining here. The solution is not the problem. In other words, if you're really just petrified, or you're scared that you're going to lose them, or that they're going to stay with a third party, all of this, and you're asking for a solution from that kind of feeling, it's never going to come. Somehow, some way, your body has to transport itself to the solution reality. Okay. And what I did was I saw something. It's a little too personal. I don't want to share it, not just yet. But essentially, there was something in the physical, something that was, significant, let's just say, not unimportant, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it was something significant that I saw. And, it was like the definition again of like, holy shit bananas. I have the choice right now of really like overreacting right now, or assuming that this is the only reality, or assuming that I cannot quantum leap, or none of which serves me. And I literally did it in 1 second. Okay. I even have screenshots, and I think you guys know that sometimes, like, even the screenshots or photographs, they disappear when you quantum leap, which has happened to me, side note, many times over. But I took screenshots of something, the physical evidence of that timeline. And I literally just sat down, and this is the way to pray, if there is any way to pray, and this is the way to quantum leap. It's literally your body needs to calm down. Like, especially like when you're having maybe like a spiral moment or whatever, and you say, what I said was, Spirit Squad, my angels, transport me to the best timeline right now. And of course, I gave specifics of what I wanted to see. But it's more than, you see, it's what I'm driving at is more than the ask. It's more than the words. It's more than the solution. It's like the embodiment of that solution. So you can ask all day fucking long, in other words, but if you can't touch, in quotations, that reality by at least merging with it temporarily, but meaning like touching it, right? Touching the bubble of that reality and getting the sensation, and then just deliberately embracing that feeling. It's gonna be an intense moment, but you can fucking do it. Let me tell you this right now. If I could do it, you could do it. And really embodying this feeling of the solution. And you don't give a fuck in that moment, like what it is that you see. It really doesn't matter because it could change. Everything can change, right? Even after the fact, it can change. But if you're really, really, really powerfully intense about it, the 3D will literally shift right before your very eyes. And I'm telling you guys, I saw it. Again, I can't tell you like what it is, but it's pretty fucking significant. And it was like, well, this is in stone. Look at this. It's like, here's, black on white or whatever, you know what I mean? Here, I'm seeing this, kind of deal. It's not in real life. It's like something with technology. And I changed it. But what I'm telling you, I changed it. In 2 minutes, I changed it. Okay. And it was back to normal, like it never happened. In fact, that was one of my declarations, like it never happened. Okay. So this is how malleable space and time, if you want to call it like that, is. You can it's not the ask of the words again, though, but it's the ask of the energy, the energetic power that you have in that moment is so enormous. All the stuff that you've lived, I don't know, before that for decades on end truly doesn't matter. I mean, it matters that you learned something, I hope so, but it's like not only can it not come with you, but it doesn't define you at all in that moment. Because just because it has never happened to you, it doesn't mean that extraordinary things cannot happen to you. I mean, you could just say, well, why not me? Okay. I mean, I'm part of the population of planet Earth. Okay. Like, why not me? Extraordinary things happen to a lot of people all the time. And I'm just as deserving as the next person, you can say. But you see, when you're doing that, you're opening that door rather than shutting it like, closed completely. You're opening that door to the whiff of this reality rather than, no, it's impossible. Well, why not me? And then you can't come up with a good answer because there is no fucking good answer, truth be told. And you start inviting this possibility. And once you prove yourself correct one time, just by daring to dream and getting a whiff of this rare reality, okay, something will happen that will leak from that timeline over here because you focused, because you allowed your magic spell energy. Like, I'm in the magic spell energy. I'm a quantum bitch or quantum dude. I rip through realities. I rip through fucking timelines. Okay, how you like me now? I can be anybody. I can go anywhere. Oh shit, isn't that funny? Something just fell off my desk right into my lap. Anyway, something I'm working on. Sorry, where was I? I can go anywhere. I can be anybody. I'm not bound by any fucking beliefs. Doesn't mean I don't take responsibility for my actions. No, it's not that. But I can go there. And I can become that. And if I do it one time and I can prove my old beliefs wrong, okay, totally like strip them of power, as it were, then I can do it again and again and again. In that sense, I am completely limitless, only limited by what I think that I cannot let in. And this leads me to my next, like, I was so fucking inspired writing the notes for this live. You just have no clue. The other thing that I wanted to, it's like, when Neville said appropriating it. Now, I'm not exactly sure how he meant it because let's face it, Neville was a little bit, the way he explains it is dense. Let's face it, right? There's a lot of Bible quotes. He never fucking explains, just Andrew and that's it, all this fucking shit. He's brilliant, don't get me wrong, like really one of the best if not the best, right? Whoever lived in manifestation community, I feel bad for him that people regurgitate his teachings in such a wrong way, but that's beside the point. So appropriating it, what does appropriate? So to me, how I understand it, okay, in my way, appropriating it is like, it's okay for me to receive it. It's okay for me to have it. I have no resistance towards it. I'm giving it to myself. Okay? There's nothing wrong with me. It's kind of like when you're praying, when you're asking, like notice, are you begging? Are you petitioning? Or are you just accepting this energy onto yourself and appropriating it? Like the new timeline should fit you like a glove. Like, in other words, if you really wanted to go into another timeline, and if you really wanted, and in this case, a dress or a suit, in a gentleman's case, represents this timeline, and you really wanted to start wearing clothing like this, or if you wanted to wear that dress, like forget everything else, do you need anybody's permission? No, you fucking don't. Okay? You just take your fucking dress and you put it on. All right? The same, or you put that suit on and put that tie on or whatever. It's the same thing. You're waiting for yourself. You're waiting to feel at ease with this something in your energy. Something there says no. Something there still rejects it. Appropriating, again, it's putting on this reality and feeling like, yeah, this is the appropriate way to be. This is the appropriate way to live. This is what I actually deserve. But maybe, just maybe, right now you don't feel like you deserve it. You have a number of things to say about that internally. Okay, so that's what would probably, spit you out of that timeline. Okay, so when you're kind of in between these realities and you're not giving it to yourself, or you're afraid of something, and this and that, and all of these scenarios, again, like I started out saying, the projection, the self-judgment. Another thing to keep in mind, like it's not unknown, right? You're always giving it to yourself. You're always appropriating it for yourself. You're always giving it to yourself. So being afraid of what might happen or being afraid of the unknown is silly, because like if you're deciding what's going to happen, it's not so scary after all, right? If you really start like dialing back, maybe even in your most recent history, like the things that transpired, if you can really be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I did manifest that. You know how much, like, not for nothing, it might sound strange, but you will receive so much satisfaction from that because there will be nobody else to fucking blame. And that's a really comfortable place for me, because you learn, all right, so I vibrated this way. I sent out some kind of a vibration and this came back. Let me reverse engineer it. Okay. Let me start being a more deliberate decider, shall we say. Okay. So owning that greatness that you have, like in this very understanding that when I move, you move, just like that. You know what I mean? It's like that song, like the rap song. I forget who sings it. There is no mystery what's happening here. You move energetically, meaning like you vibrate some shit out there, it returns. You say no to things, they don't come to you. So it's never the conversation of how much harder I try, how much harder I pray. It's how much more I relax into it. Okay. And here's the thing, because the reality that you want as a master magician, ripping through multiple realities, multiple timelines, you really should understand that what you want exists on a higher frequency. And a higher frequency, by definition, you don't have to try so hard. Okay? You really fucking don't. You just have to show up on a leveled up frequency. It exists on an easier frequency. It will happen with the speed of light. Okay? And with ease, may I tell you. So you're going in completely different direction, in the opposite direction, if you really think that you need to try harder or understand more. No, in fact, the rarefied frequency, where the air is rarefied, like the private planes when they fly higher than the commercial planes, that's what you want. And over there, it's a different level of consciousness. For that level of consciousness, whatever you perceive that is so fucking hard for you right now or unacceptable that you cannot receive onto yourself and appropriate in your life, it's a daily thing. It's like buying chewing gum, if you will. Okay? This version of you, this is normal and natural, completely fucking normal and natural. And this example came to mind for whatever reason. I have two very rich aunts, and they're both called the same name, by the way. I don't know. One is very nice, one not so nice, but whatever. In both cases, I mean, they're so rich, super duper, ridiculously rich. Okay, one of them is a billionaire. Why I'm mentioning it is not to impress you, but in their presence, and I was exposed to both of them like early on, in my childhood, etc. Obviously, so maybe it's not so obvious, but anyway, I saw the distinction, the change, the not the change, the difference. Sorry, between my parents who always worried about money. Okay, always were penny pinch, you know the story, and the way that my aunts handled money and how they spent money and how they were so at ease with it. Okay, one of them is not so classy, let's just say it like that. Okay, one of those flashy ones. The other one is super fucking classy. The billionaire is super fucking classy. But the point was, it was easy for them. Okay, it was so easy. They made it look like it's like breathing air. They weren't trying hard. Yes, they worked, they had companies, they had dooba dooba doo, but they made it look so fucking easy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, I feel like in their presence, I felt like I was a better version of myself. And because I had that encounter, I had this, I don't know how to say, like, contradiction, right? From what I saw with my parents, realizing this is not the only story. And so in the same manner, like, you'll have examples of people for whom relationships are mad easy. Take inspiration from that. Take vibrational inspiration from that. Okay? Kind of like, it can be this easy. It can be this easy for me. In fact, if I make it hard, it's never going to come to me. Okay, the big money or the proposal, like the things that we consider big, are actually easier to manifest because they are so big. There's so much energy behind them, there's so much love, they're larger. Like, there's a lot of love. Everything is made of love in the universe that is pure, beautiful, and complete. And so when you want something so beautiful for you, like a proposal or a lot of money that provided you're benevolent, always have to squeeze this in, there's a lot of love there. And it like, how can you compensate, for, let's just say, becoming a billionaire? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? How many hours? I mean, not everybody's Elon Musk, okay? And even here, there's not enough hours in a day, is my point, that you can prove yourself worthy for $1 billion, let's just say. It's vibration, but it's of a higher quality vibration, high quality in that it's easy for me. So going right back to the beginning, it's the state of ease. It's not lazy. It's the state of, this is easy for me. This happens all the time to me. And at first blush, you'll be like, well, Anna, it has never fucking happened to me. What are you fucking talking about? I understand. But the more you start to energetically say it, and maybe you have an index card next to your bed, and you say, these relationships are beautiful and easy for me. All my relationships are loving and beautiful, just as a general statement kind of deal, the more you're gonna start to merge again with this other version of you for whom this has always been this way. And at some point, nothing is going to happen instantaneously, is my point. You're going to have to work at it, but you don't have to work at it like a motherfucking horse. Okay, you're going to have to be stubborn like a motherfucking donkey, but not work at it like a horse. Okay, it's a matter of massaging your brain and then allowing, again, as I started out saying in the beginning, allowing the divine to help you, to inspire you with the downloads from that reality. And energetically, I don't know how to explain it, but I can do my best in coaching when I explain energy work. But this energy from the other timeline leaks into here and takes you over there, because you start becoming vibrationally more a match to the other reality. And it's such a disconnect in the middle because you're in between and it's like neither here nor there. This is what I also said, I'm in between realities. Both signs are showing up. I don't know where I am, who I am. Just be, again, stubborn like a donkey and dedicate your time familiarizing yourself what it's like over there. It's easy for me and it's going to become easy. Now, again, just want to stress for those who seek a quick fix, nothing is quick, nothing is overnight. It's a buildup. Listen, it would be impossible for you. It would be very challenging for you to change overnight without doing the proper work. It's not sustainable, and it's gonna be so hard on your physical faculties. Like, I'm telling, even mentally, you're not gonna. You say now that you want like marriage tomorrow, proposal tomorrow, house together tomorrow. You're not ready for it. It's a good thing that you're not ready for it. It should happen in steps and it should unfold comfortably. Like, you're gonna lose your mind, like literally, if all this time, you know what I mean? It's come on, it's a hard transition. So it's a good thing. Like, remember this also, the 3D changes in steps, because this is how this reality is set up. It's good for you that it's unfolding in steps, that you're getting used to it, and day after day you're making more familiar, and it's kinder to yourself. Like, really, it's, and remind you, when you're becoming impatient in the moment, just remind yourself, you know what, I'm doing my best. If you're doing every single day the contacting of the other reality, the appropriation of the other reality, even if it's not the greatest day on earth, you know what? It doesn't matter. You've done your best that day. And you should fucking congratulate yourself, because most people don't do anything. They're not courageous enough, not brave enough, this, that, and the other. I don't care. But you are. And so if every day you're doing that, you're doing your part. Okay. So, feeling of the I'm not even halfway through my notes. Holy shit, bananas! I'm gonna have to leave some for another time. Sorry, I have to take a sip of my tea. How you doing, guys? Big thumbs up. Um, and big subscribe. Thank you. So the feeling of the solution rather than the problem. Oh, actually, I did go through quite a bit of notes. 1 second, sorry, so I can make sure I cover. So when you're imagining this reality, is the most important thing. I mean, you could do it, you could start doing it right now, just like I started from the very beginning. After having worked through your mama drama panorama, it's, yes, imagining it, right? You're imagining it, but it's more than that. The appropriation of it is, I'm thinking from it. I'm thinking from it. I'm thinking from the mentality of that timeline. I'm feeling from it. Yes, I'm being responsible in my old life, in my old reality, dooba-dooba-doo. But I've just accepted a new offer from the other timeline. Okay. So it's not the asking of it, it's that I just ripped through realities and I am dedicated to this reality, and all of my decisions, if I want for it to come over here sooner, I'm thinking from it. So what does this mean in practical terms? I know you guys like examples galore. It just means, as an example, if there's a third party, let's just say, to your with your honey right now. Number one, I mean, as I always say, it's very, very useful to detach any kind of jealousy, anger, resentment. This person didn't do anything to you, and even if they did, it's the best course of action. If you really want that person, meaning your SP, best course of action is to forgive, let go. There's 100% some kind of a lesson there. It doesn't exist, okay? But you go, you know what? Hold on, sorry, 1 second. What I'm going to think from is that they're single. My SP is single, as an example. And it's just such a delicate moment. And this is another thing I really wanted to explain, like, kind of more of. And it's all very energetic and holographic in my mind. So I'm trying my best to explain, all these concepts. But it's such a delicate moment. It's not even an ask. You can't tell the difference, as I said in one of my shorts, whether you are describing a reality or whether you're predicting it into, into existence. It's kind of like, are you picking up on it or are you creating it? You can't tell the difference in between, okay? And it's such a delicate moment of even under breath pronouncement. And it's not, again, I want to stress, it's not to cause anybody harm. It's just to end up in a timeline where that is already so. And you say something so simple to yourself. Again, the least resistance, you want to accomplish this feeling of the least resistance towards this goal or whatever pronouncement. So it has to be somewhat believable to you. And again, the component here is that you're not attached to this third party with any kind of anger issues or whatever, or jealousy. And you just say to yourself, you know what? I have now entered the timeline where my SP is now finally single. Okay? They're single, and well, if that's the step that you want to create, manifest. And if you can tap into this manifestation, into this timeline, and feel the euphoria, maybe they have been making you wait like for years. I mean, I've had clients in my coaching that it's been years upon years, decades in some cases. Okay. And it's, again, it's the vibration of solution. So now that you got your way, basically, now that they are single, okay, and not only are they single, but of course they're single because they want to be with you. I mean, I think that's really important to put in, right? If you're like creating a script or whatever, or a magic spell in quotations, um that they're coming to you. Like, how does that feel? You got your way, and you got it so effortlessly. You didn't do no voodoo. You didn't do no dark magic. You didn't crazy shit like that, which doesn't work anyway. It just bounces back. You just simply stated your desire because you're godlike, because you utilize your magic spell energy. In this magic spell energy, you are God. And a god exercises their power benevolently only. And you simply state under your breath like royalty would. I want to end up in a timeline where my SP is single. And that is enough. And as long as you can let it in with the feeling, the emotion that will flood you, maybe you haven't been able to access this emotion. And therefore, the access to that timeline hasn't been available to you. It's so simple. It's as simple as that. Okay. So letting it in, so you get the whiff of this reality and you feel this euphoria. Holy shit, it's not real yet. No, it hasn't taken place yet in 3D, but it has taken place in your consciousness. And that's everything. Everything. Okay, like Cat Williams says, everything. Anyway, go watch his stand-up. He's hilarious. I love him. You've made the contact. It's like, you landed on Mars. Now let's explore. And I'm telling you, I don't know how else to explain it. It will have its own signature vibration. You will recognize, it will come to you. It will come to you. You won't have to design it. You won't have to sweat, worry, do. No, it will be like you've made the connection. You allowed yourself to go. Now, how you go there, it could be music, it could be just meditation, it could be just in silence, depending on who you are, in that sense, what your background is, etc., etc. But you go there and it's like, oh, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to get my way. And I've hurt nobody. And I want to tell you something now. That's the minute that you've stated that desire, you just became a part of that timeline. And something just occurred in that timeline with your SP. Something, the train has departed the station. Okay, something has just taken place, even a little thing has just happened somewhere in that timeline that you just made the contact with, that the train departed the station, that couple is going to separate. Now, you didn't do anything. You didn't separate them. Don't misunderstand. You just ended up in a timeline where they were going to separate anyway. Okay? It wasn't divinely guided in that timeline. I mean, if when you have billions upon billions of timelines of parallel realities, I think you're entitled to choosing one where your SP is single, if that is your preference. You didn't interfere. You didn't, again, no magic was done. It's a statement. And your statement alone, your desire alone will take you there, doing nothing in the 3D. And don't you know this SP of yours will come themselves to you and will be so fucking, high on life and really happy that they chose you. In other words, you didn't twist anybody's arm. Okay, you simply decided, I want them to be single. That couple is no more together, and and listen again. Be benevolent. Use this with your own kind of like karma in mind kind of situation. Don't wish anybody ill. You don't have to. Okay, just because you're wishing somebody to be single, that's not ill. You're not wishing the third party ill. You just want a timeline where that already exists. That's it. Okay, that's not wishing somebody ill. To be perfectly frank and honest, is to be jealous of somebody. And that's kind of, you know what I mean? That's more wishing somebody ill than jumping into another timeline hurting a nobody, but nobody. Okay? Kind of situation. All right. You guys can ask your questions if anybody has any. And big thumbs up. Always big thumbs up. On your way out, big thumbs up. Always. Excuse me. Let me check my notes. So, what brings this timeline with lightning speed, like I said, the love of it? Can you be again in love with this idea like you've never been before? Can you really be laser sharp focused? Can you give it that energy rather than giving it worry energy? Can you be this mastermind? Can you be this master magician? Can you be really this unfuckable with that nothing shakes you and you're so dedicated to this timeline that it comes to you in no time? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. With a little training, yes, you can. And so, a couple of things I wrote down. In the morning, a really good practice. Now, listen, in the process, as I've mentioned, when you're quantum leaping to this reality where they leave the third party, propose to you, I mean, literally, guys, I want to say this. This is reality. I don't talk out of my behind. I've done this myself. Okay. The amount of work, okay, on somebody that you can do, or the amount of change, rather, not work, that could be misinterpreted big time, and I just realized. Uh, the amount of change that you can make happen in another person just at a distance alone is absolutely mind-blowing and ridiculous. But of course, the work is really on you. You being the mirror image of this version, and you really being accepting of that version, right? I mean, you I don't care if this guy lives or a girl lives on the moon. You guys never kissed, okay? Never met each other in person, even. I mean, I don't know how attraction would be built that way, but whatever. Let's just say you never were intimate, never dated, nothing. At a distance, you can literally change them top to bottom. I've done this myself. It will be unrecognizable, your relationship, unless they were abusive to you. And it's like, listen, my heart goes out to anybody here who is in an abusive relationship, and I know it's hard to even acknowledge that, but please, take care of yourself. You have to be kind to yourself first. Okay. So that change will occur. That change will occur, and you have to be ready for it. You have to embrace it and be willing to let go the other version. Because again, you cannot bring your projections onto them. You're going to go back to that other timeline all over again. So in the morning, sending love for that person, the gratitude for that person, and also creating a movie. I go beyond the scenes. Okay, the scenes are great. That's wonderful, and you can create several scenes, and that's jolly. But more than that, creating a movie, like your life together. Maybe you cook together, maybe you travel together, maybe the conversations again that you will have. My favorite is having, if you ever want to hear from somebody, okay, especially if you haven't heard from them for a while, talk to them either out loud or in your mind and carry on a conversation, just like Neville said, the telephone technique. Hear them talk to you. But literally, you could do this so easily, just an exchange in your mind. You're talking to them in your mind. Okay? So a mini movie in like, this is my life now. Like, I'm still here. I'm still in this reality where I'm single, let's just say. They're not around, but I am already like vibrationally, I'm pasting over the new reality where I'm married with this honey, um, with my house, all of the things that I want. And I'm in my mind, not even in my imagination, but kind of like simultaneously, I'm here and there. Physically, I'm still here. But it's only a matter of not such a long time, okay, considering all the years that you've spent in misery, that you're going to be able to comfortably transition into that reality where everything, this movie that you've contemplated, will literally replicate itself, and that will become your life. So spending some time in the morning visiting this holographic universe that you will construct, and if you'll come into my coaching, it will be my pleasure to help you. It's so exciting after we process the mama drum panorama, which is also exciting for me, not for nothing. I love being the detective of people's lives because I don't know, I enjoy it. I've always had that thing, the journalist in me, because I have a degree in journalism. So that will become your life. So the mini movie, going through it emotionally. And if for that day or for that week or for that month, okay, you have some objectives, which you should, okay, some things, a goal to make happen, just go there in your imagination, yes. But again, it has to be. So look at this. I'm imagining, let's just say that this guy is proposing to me, right? With a Tiffany ring, okay? We're gonna use that example again. So I can imagine it and I can clearly see it, and everybody knows what it looks like. But if I'm emotionally not appropriating it, not accepting it, not making it real in my body, you know what I mean? It's very difficult to animate it. It's very difficult to relive it again in 3D. Contrary to that, if I see it and it kind of like the emotion is, oh my God, I can't believe it, but this is so phenomenal. And of course this would happen. I know how crazy they are for me, and I was suspecting that they would do that. You see how the story is completely different. And I mean, basically, you're proposing to yourself. I mean, as it were, you know what I mean? Kind of situation. You're always choosing all these things. So also, I mean, yeah, it sucks in moments when you manifest something like seemingly undesirable that, all right, I didn't create it, but you're creating it all. This is the fun part for me. Anyway, even the so-called undesirable parts, to examine, to fine-tune your instrument, fine-tune your mind, fine-tune your life. I mean, I don't know. I derive enormous amount of pleasure out of it. Okay. So the goals to manifest, right? The proposed, so these goals, and yes, the associated scenes, but infused with a lot of feeling. And one thing I really wanted to share, so it's, again, just to go over, it's just a few seconds you need, just going there for a few seconds, but noticing again, are you pushing it away or are you accepting it? Are you accepting it onto yourself? Are you embodying it? Does it feel more normal? Does it feel more and more normal to you? And by day, you'll make progress, okay? But it needs to be enjoyable and it needs to be passionate for you. Like it needs to be, oh my God, I just got it. And holy shit, bananas, I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. And I had this thing where it's very hard for me to explain it, but the best way that I can explain that I energize my goals, one of the ways that I do it. So for energy work, you're going to have to come into coaching with me because it's only one-on-one. Um, just your own body, just if you bring it to excitement, can you do it? Can you make your heart race? Okay. Can you really like jump up and down? Can you pretend like you're celebrating something? Like it's that energy that energizes your desire so much, you guys have no fucking clue. It will be replicated. Like if you were celebrating, like let's just say somebody told you you won the lottery, like that kind of heart race. Okay, if you can produce it, maybe you clapping your hands and you're so happy, running around, you know, that like you've won the Oscar, like something monument, that energy energizes your desires. Holy shit, bananas. I'm giving you gold here, seriously though. That's infallible. So be honest, in other words, what energy did you really put into this? imagination, into the scene, that's exactly the energy that will come back. Don't do it like, I'm doing my imagining. I don't know. No, 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 no. You're not doing anything. You really need to, if there's any work, okay, it's this. It's the energetic work of bringing your body into such resonance with this euphoric feeling that, I mean, you literally will take off. It feels like you will literally levitate any moment now. Okay. So, and again, emotionally touching this reality, just the overall feel of this reality, right? So right now, just as a for instance, your normal go-to might be stress, I don't know, worry about this something, this someone, this and that. This needs to change. Like every time you think about this person, the reaction, it needs to be love. It doesn't matter what happened. It needs to be processed. It's not that. But it's like, if you want to start catapulting yourself to this timeline, if you want to rip through realities and timelines like the master magician with your magic spell energy, yeah, you really need to dedicate yourself to this timeline big time. Okay. And emotionally create, and again, in the energy work explanations, I will go over it, I promise, to the best of my ability. Okay. The way that, because what I'm seeing in my mind and that has worked for me so wonderfully, I'm trying to teach it, and it's worked wonderfully for people who really, practice it. But the overall sensation, the overall mood of your world, of yourself, of the way that you feel day to day, the way that you feel towards this person needs to change. And as it changes gradually, you will see such monumental magic happen to this person. I mean, I'm telling you, you will hardly believe it. It will replicate itself. And I'll tell you what else. And I'll leave you with this. These conversations that you're going to have mentally, these projections, the songs, the meditation, whatever work you'll put into it, it will be confirmed to you right before, and it happens, and then afterwards, meaning like when you'll get together with your people, you'll compare notes. But basically everything you've scripted and everything you've designed and everything you've felt through, I'm telling you, because it's a little too personal for me to give the example, but I'm telling you this right now. You will get a confirmation from the 3D. Either somebody will tell you something, you will see something on social media, banner, wherever, a song in a song to you, boo, 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 where it will be verbatim what you thought, what you've designed, what you've scripted. In other words, it's not, universe has no secrets. Forget about it. It's like it's been received, and it you are receiving the confirmation that it's about to come over here. In other words, what you've designed and constructed literally is there. You just manifested it, if you want to say it like that. You're not crazy. You've just literally designed that timeline, and you're in it right here, right now. And right before it happens, it's just verbatim. It's like it's reading your thoughts. Something magical like this happens. All right. So that's it for now. If anybody has any questions, you can speak now or forever be quiet. No, just kidding. I completely forgot. I apologize. So the offer for this week, and this week only, is that if you wanted to book a 1 hour session with me, it's $100 off. Okay, till like Sunday, right? Sunday will be the last day. The link is on the community board. I want to help more people who perhaps cannot come into coaching with me for whatever reason, and help them in that hour best I can, giving them the tools that they can definitely use and succeed. So this is what I'm doing, the people that I do this for. So take advantage of this opportunity, or for somebody who, maybe can do coaching, but still take advantage of this offer. Again, the link is on the community. And again, I recommend the signature coaching package. It's 3 times per week if you really want to do it the right way. If for whatever reason you cannot do 3 times per week, the other coaching package I recommend is on the go, and that's twice a week. But again, you're just prolonging, like the less frequent package, in my opinion, it'll just take you longer to process all of the stuff. In my personal experience, at the very least, the first month, you need 3 times per week. And then on the second month or the third month, I have done, I have downgraded, so to speak, my clients to twice a week. So that's available. If you have any questions, please reach out. There's one more thing I'm inspired to mention, and that's what I thought about. There's a really great package. The the book club. Okay, I haven't been speaking about it. There's a 68 audios that are kind of like book material, basically. Okay, I'm never going to release it on my channel, and again, it's the package for like 2.5 months or something, like maybe 3 months. I send you 3 audios per week. And that's, again, you're going to have to sign the coaching agreement, but that's $550, I believe. Yeah, something like that per month. If you cannot do coaching, I mean, I'm going to be, completely transparent. When I channel, I can never say like this is 100% me, but it's some of my best work, if I do say so myself. So if you cannot do coaching, these audios are a treasure. Okay, so not taking credit for it fully, just bragging on God, bragging on my channeling, not on me. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Go rewatch and big thumbs up. Thank you so much. Until next time, ciao ciao. Because